Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, halfway through the work week and the end of the work week. It's going to be all about the heat and the high humidity. Temperatures into Thursday and Friday are going to spike far above normal. They've already been running above normal, but we're really going to actually see the potential for some record heat. Our records flirting with a degree or two of what we have set for areas like Appalach, Tallahassee. So we're keeping an eye on that, but figured it would be fitting to talk about heat index values. Been a while since we've talked about that because, of course, we're just coming off winter and we're kicking off summer early apparently this year with temperatures feeling closer to July tomorrow and Friday. We're talking low 90s for inland spots here. So I wanted to dive into what heat index values mean. That means what the temperature actually feels like to the human body when you're factoring in humidity, the dew points, how much moisture is in the air. So let's talk about low humidity first. This reminds me of my time back in Phoenix, Arizona. It's where I lived before I moved here. In Phoenix, Arizona, it is an arid climate, a dry climate. Your dew points are in the 20s, in the 30s. So obviously much drier air. There's not as much moisture in the air. So what happens, the human body responds differently when it's in an environment with drier air or an environment with more moist air. Drier air allows moisture to evaporate, so sweating, and that actually will cool the body. So the human body will sweat more and it will actually feel cooler. You could still be outside and think it feels hot out, but you'll feel a little bit more comfortable with low humidity. Now let's talk high humidity. Everyone in the panhandle knows that Florida summers are hot and they are very humid. And we are going to feel that. I know it's the end of March, but into tomorrow, into Friday, for the next 48 hours, your temperature is already going to be running above normal, but your dew points are going to be unseasonably high as well. So dew points are going to be well into the upper 60s, not the 20s and 30s like in Arizona. And your relative humidity, according to our forecast models, are going to be running well within the 70 to 75% range. So what happens is the human body is going to interpret that and you're going to feel more uncomfortable because you're not going to be able to experience sweat evaporation as much. And we know that sweat evaporation reduces body temperature. So it's going to feel a little uncomfortable. It's going to be a little reminder of what June and July felt like all over again, but just a little early this year. And this is a graphic I wanted to show you. Okay, air temperature, for example, at the top, we see hypothetically 86 degrees Fahrenheit. On the x-axis, you have relative humidity. I said tomorrow it's going to be around 70 to 75%. And on the y-axis, you have heat index values in Fahrenheit. So heat index values, what is the temperature going to be versus that heat index value of what it's actually going to feel like with all the moisture around right now. So for tomorrow, it's very possible that most of our areas will see 86 degrees. We are forecasting closer to 90 degrees. So, for example, Thursday, Friday, paired with 70 to 75% humidity, there you go, your temperature. Instead of 86, it would actually be feeling closer to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So, wanted to take this opportunity. Of course, this isn't a permanent pattern, but pretty soon here we're going to be getting to those summer months and it's going to feel like it tomorrow anyway. So heat exhaustion safety tips, just going to throw those out there early this year. Obviously a lot of people are still inside laying low with the pandemic going on. If you can, just stay in AC, and this is kind of perfect because the next 2 days, if you're going to be inside working from home or whatever you're doing anyway, or the kids are at home instead of at school and you're doing the entire homeschool routine, this is where you want to be anyway. So for days like this, just keep that in mind. For the summer months when it would be summer break for the kids anyway, obviously stay more hydrated, reduce strenuous activities, never ever ever leave pets or kids inside the vehicle. All good things, and hopefully that makes a little bit more sense of why in Florida, in a humid subtropical climate, it's feeling a whole lot more uncomfortable than an area with a desert climate with those drier air masses. I wanted to touch base too before I wrap this up. Record for tomorrow, because we are keeping an eye on record heat. Temperatures is going to be by about a degree or two of whether we see that. So very likely, Appalach, 80 degrees set in 2012. And Tallahassee, their record was 90, set back in 1929. Of course, time will tell. But hopefully you learned something, and I will see you again tomorrow.